Tuesday, September 24th, 6:34 p.m. And we will have the Madam City Clerk do a roll call.
Thank you. Mayor John Herbedian.
Here?
Mayor Pro Tem John Kaposha.
Here.
Councilmember Rochelle Arzmende.
Present.
Councilmember Denise Delmar.
Here.
Councilmember Jean Gosch.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum and may conduct city business.
Thank you. And the pledge and inspiration by Councilmember Arzmendi.
Put your hand over your heart, please, and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I have no invocation or words tonight.
Okay. We'll get on with business then. Thank you. Did everyone have a chance to look at the agenda?
Yes,
Can I have a motion for approval?
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And Mayor, I'm going to abstain from those.
Okay, noted. And Mr. City Attorney, report from closed session.
So pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8, the City Council met regarding real property negotiations regarding city poles located at 611 East Sierra Madre Boulevard, and City Council provided direction to the property negotiator.
Great, thank you very much. The minutes, any changes?
I have one, Madam City Clerk, and where I gave my report out, it says the Committee of the San Gabriel COG had a legal presentation. If you could just strike that word legal.
Okay.
Any other changes? If not, we'll have a motion to approve as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's what I meant to abstain from.
Got it.
I was wondering.
Yeah. Mayor and City Council reports. We'll start on my right. Councilmember Delmar.
Nothing from me.
Okay, I met with the Senior Commission this afternoon and had a very productive meeting. And I just want to relay some comments where our chairperson, Joanne Williams, and Vice Chair Anita Thompson just were very, very effusive in their praise of our staff members. So Rebecca, Lauren, Clarissa, and Rosemary.
Oh, that's nice.
And it was just really great to hear that, just how well everybody works together. And it's just one of the many, many reasons I'm so proud to live in Sierra Madre and serve on this council. When you hear things like that, just people working together and getting things done and enjoying themselves while they're doing it. So I just want to congratulate staff in doing a great job with the Senior Commission. They've got a lot of things on their agenda that I'm not going into, but it is a very, very productive commission. That's my report.
Excellent. Thank you.
Just a quick one. Last week I was invited as a guest to attend the Sierra Madre Library Foundation board meeting, and I see that they're here tonight, and the Foundation board chair will be presenting a presentation to us in a little bit, so I'll just hold off and wait and hear what they have to say.
Just a short recognition of what happened over summer since I wasn't here at the last meeting. Just amazing, amazing activities. Thank you all the staff and all of the different groups in the community that help sponsor things like our concerts in the park, and just very well attended. Even though many days was 95 to 100 degrees, people were still dancing and having a great time. So thank you to all of those that contributed to that. And then Kiwanis had a really nice pancake breakfast last week, and the Mayor Pro Tem, and I did an important job of pooch judging, and we had some great awardees. So congratulations, Kiwanis, on a successful event.
I'll second that. The Kiwanis pancake breakfast was great, and it seemed like a very well-attended event, and the Pooch Parade was a lot of fun too, and really happy that we were involved with it. So yeah, kudos again to the Kiwanis Club. And with that, I will open the floor up for public comment for items not on the agenda.
Hello, my name is Leslie Ziff, 229 North Baldwin, and I am here. My hat tonight is the chair of the Friends of the Sierra Madre Library Harvest Festival wine tasting. It is this Friday. It's coming up real soon, this Friday, and I'm hoping that all of you have bought your tickets. I know some of you have, and that everybody in Sierra Madre will help join us in supporting this, because with this money, we use it to support the programs at the library, the children's programs and many of the other programs at the library. So it's a really important event, and the money goes right back to the people that live here and support and go to the library. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Deborah Clapp, and I'm here to talk about getting rent control for Sierra Madre. We all live, there's a group of us here of Sierra Court Cottages in the Canyon in Sierra Madre. We were given a termination of tenancy August 22nd. We all have to be out, 19 people, 11 seniors, 3 with disabilities. We have to be out by November 22nd. The property was bought by Michael and Amanda Freeman. They're going to totally renovate the places and triple the rents. So we've been negotiating with them. They, by law, don't have to give us anything because there isn't any rent control or relocation fees in Sierra Madre. They have given us 1 month's free rent if we will get out by November 1st, even though the tenancy is November 22nd. Some of the tenants will not be able to do that. Some have found places, so not everybody will get that rent, will get that month free rent. So it has been a devastating, chaotic time for all of us, because I don't know if some of you might know, if this ever happened to you, you haven't saved money to move, you haven't planned to move, this is where you've lived. Marlene has lived here for 28 years. Sophie, how long have you been here? 9. Sophie's lived there for 9 years. Sophie has a disability, a heart condition. So they don't have to give us anything, because by law they don't. But we really hope Sierra Madre will change this, because this seems to be happening everywhere. Pasadena has passed an ordinance. Long Beach has passed an ordinance for relocation fees and for rent control. So we hope Sierra Madre will do that. The state, of course, is trying to pass a big one, which will not go through till January. This isn't going to help us, but it has been such a devastation to us. We just want you to know this has happened to the citizens of Sierra Madre who are part of the community, and it's been really, really tough. And also what I'm gonna do, the next person who's going to read is Sophie, and I'm gonna read for her now. So this is a new 3 minutes.
And by the way, thank you, but before you go in,
Okay.
Everyone has their constitutional right to come up and say anything that you'd like. If you want to come up and say, I agree completely with what that person said,
Okay.
we've had that in the past too. So it's up to you guys, whatever makes most sense. So.
Okay, and the other thing is, well, I'll read Sophie's and then
Yeah.
say what I was going to say. This is Sophie Kessler here, how I as a senior feel about the surprise of being uprooted at this time in my life. I am 77 years young. I have lived in my beloved Sierra Court cottages for nearly 9 years. When I found Sierra Court, I was thrilled. It was the perfect fit for me. It reflected my love of lush green nature and the local wildlife. I had always found being immersed in nature to be healing medicine. Then about 2 years ago, I was in a serious auto accident. A week later, a major heart attack. Then next came surgery and a pacemaker. It was a difficult time. However, being in and surrounded by nature and its beauty became my most powerful medicine and healing. Sierra Court Cottages was so much more than just a place to live. It became a community of heart for all of us. I knew I wanted to stay here until it was time for me to leave the planet. Now I feel the lights have gone out. What now for my remaining years? The peace, joy, comfort, security, the familiarity and camaraderie. Rebuilding is far more formidable at this age. A part of me feels my remaining years may have been stolen, and growing forward will happen despite being fraught with sadness and stress. It has been extremely stressful, this kind of thing. So that's why we want to stop it in Sierra Madre so this never happens again to people losing their homes. And it's their unjust evictions is what they are. Okay, I'm done. And now this is Dennis, who's also part of the Sierra Court College.
Good evening. Yeah, my name is Dennis Burton. My wife and I live at 533 Sturtevant Drive, Apartment A in Sierra Madre, 91024, and that's going to be kind of a hard act to follow. So all I want to do is echo that, and we've lived there 13 years and found that Sierra Court was almost a microcosm of Sierra Madre, where neighbors were close, everybody was willing to help everybody, it was peaceful and quiet, and now 13 years later we've gotten a notice on our door, taped to our door, say we have to be out in 90 days. And as Debbie was saying, it's very difficult for people on fixed incomes to be able to do that. We're very fortunate, but we think that Sierra Madre needs to look at the idea of creating similar ordinances to help people. Los Angeles, of course, has a large relocation document that allows people, based on their age and number of years they've lived in a place, to be able to move to another place without having the stress and hardship that would come from vacating apartments. Basically, I think everything that I wanted to say has really been said, except for the fact that we're afraid we won't even be able to stay in Sierra Madre. Rent, according to Trulia.com, has gone up 30+% from July to this July in Sierra Madre. 40% of your constituents are renters. So it's something that I think has to be addressed. And like Debbie said, it's not necessarily going to help us, but we think the core of what Sierra Madre is needs to be preserved as best as possible. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Diane Burton, and I'm a special education teacher, and I teach special needs inner city, and so I drive a long ways every day and come home. And here, like Sophie said, the energy here is healing, and so when I'm in the lush green and I feel the earth, it fills my soul up, so I can next morning drive back to the inner city and help the special needs children. So I love it here, don't want to go, and please change it for the future. Thank you.
This is Michael. He's also a tenant from Sierra Court.
Yeah.
You're speaking to the mic.
I've lived here in Sierra Madre for 13 years, and like the other tenants, we have been forced to move, not by our choice, with governments are elected and are supposed to, and the reason for government is supposed to help prevent against the basis instincts of human beings, and that's why we are having middle-class people who have wanted to live in Sierra Madre, and who many of us are forced with choices where, because of the market economy, may be forced to leave. Middle-class people are being forced to leave. There's a housing crisis, and while this may not help us, this is happening, and urge that Sierra Madre follow the lead of other cities and adopt rent control and moving legislation to reimburse for moving costs. The owners have negotiated where it would do 1 month if we move out 3 weeks earlier than, and with the market rates that will not cover deposits. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any other comments for items not on the agenda?
Carol Canterbury, Victoria Lane. I just wanted to thank the city staff, especially staff, I don't see them today, for movie in the park. It was Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We made pods, and it was
Yeah, that was cool.
And I want to say we probably had about 100 people, maybe a little less, and people came and went as they wished. But it was great, and it worked out really well. So we're hoping maybe to do some more like festival type movies, Christmassy type themes, holiday themes, I guess is the correct word. And so it was very, very fun, and it was great having it in the park. They're self-contained, water, potties, so it was wonderful. And if I had it where we wanted to, it probably would have been a little bit more maneuvering with little kids and stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to thank you all, and it was a great fun, and we're going to keep on doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Okay. Any other comments? Well, thank you for those comments. Obviously, will be a continued dialogue with the city. The next item on the agenda are presentations, and that is, we have a couple of them. The first one is from Councilmember Mike Cacciotti for an update on the air quality from the South Coast Air Quality Management District Governing Board, and he is our representative. So, Michael, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. Pleasure to be here, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Good to be back. Feels like South Pasadena. You're always like our sister, brother city here. We enjoy it. So, as the Mayor said, I'm your representative on one of the largest air pollution districts in the nation. I'm your servant. Here today to give you a little background about the South Coast Air Quality Management District, in case you don't know, or just a reminder. There was 4 separate air districts in Southern California back in the early 70s. Actually, they started back in the 40s and 50s after the war. In 1977, they put all 4 together. If you look on the right, it says Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Orange County, Riverside became the South Coast Air District. And there's how big it is, 10,000 square miles, 17 million residents, 12 million vehicles on our roads, the nation's largest cargo gateway. All the container traffic goes through here is 60 to 10, 710, et cetera, all the way out to the rest of the United States. There's 42 monitoring stations throughout the 4-county region. The closest one is by Caltech. There's also one just east of us in Azusa. We had a temporary one in Duarte for a little while when they were doing some of that Vulcan mining on the mountains right there, right by John Fasana's home. AQMD's role is to help with stationary sources. These are the real culprits here, the mobile sources. Top left are medium duty, light duty vehicles on the freeways. You can see the cargo on the trains. Those are diesel trains, by the way, that come through all the time. I was in San Dimas and Laverne the other night several weeks ago, and some of those large trains came by down by Pomona, and then a Metrolink came by over by San Dimas. And as they slow down or stop, you just see the diesel soot pop into the air in the neighborhoods. So you've got the ocean-going vessels on the bottom right, heavy-duty diesel vehicles, which if you just heard about new legislation, finally we're going to do something to monitor those vehicles over 14,000 gross vehicle weight. And my daytime job is working with the Bureau of Automotive Repair to prosecute bad auto repair dealers and smog check stations, but this will be the first time we actually do these heavy-duty vehicles. We're going to monitor their inspection and maintenance, especially the ones coming from La Cañada, that big dig project. So you've got the off-road construction equipment at the bottom, manufacturing. AQMD, we just monitor stationary sources, landfills, gas stations, oil refineries, major corporations that are manufacturing. Here's why it's so important to all of us, air pollution, because it impacts you, your families, your kids, your pets. Now we know it causes asthma, it exacerbates asthma, but there's now findings, we're doing studies at Cedars-Sinai about autism, a connection to autism, a link, and now to Alzheimer's. So very serious concerns about what particulate matter, especially microscopic, can do to your body and your brain now. But there's hope. There's a lot of money available to do something about it. Volkswagen, a $500 million settlement for California alone. There's several different categories on the left. Probably the bottom couple, this is light duty, zero emission vehicle on the left. Infrastructure, electric charging stations, hydrogen fueling stations. There's money for that we can apply for. Cities, businesses, school districts, individuals. So a number of different categories, mainly for the ports traffic, if you notice, a lot of the ports and marine projects. Another great program, these are for smaller businesses. If you know people in your community that have a small business, like 10 medium duty, heavy duty trucks or under in their fleet, we'll give you $60,000 right away off the top within 15 days basically. Convert some of the older vehicles, just get an updated vehicle, compressed natural gas, electric if they're available, they're starting to become available, hydrogen fuel cell, diesel particulate traps, and you just go to the bottom right, that phone number, call staff, or www.aqmd.gov. VIP is a voucher. Incentive program, it's in your packets. There should be information in your packets right there on the program. This is a great program, still money available. This is another great program, top left, Carl Moyer. There's all the different categories, trucks, transit buses, refuse trucks. Your agency, like South Pass, we did a few years ago, public agency utility vehicles. We had a couple public works vehicles. They were diesel, and they're old, they've been around 15, 20 years, polluting everywhere. We went to buy a new one. AQMD will give you money over and above the cost of buying diesel. If you want to get a compressed natural gas, battery, any cost that's more than buying a diesel, we'll pay the difference. So you got about $10,000 to $12,000 to get a new compressed natural gas. So it's going to run for about another 10, 15 years. When it's in the neighborhood idling, you're not getting that diesel particulate matter that we can all smell and remember as kids. The right, that program's almost done. That's Prop B from many years ago. Great program on your left, depending on your income level. If you qualify, get up to almost $10,000. You turn in an old polluting vehicle, older than 2009, 2006 in that range, and get a newer vehicle, a compressed natural gas, plug-in electric, hybrid like I've got, all electric. You can get up to $9,500, depending on your income level, and you just go to that in the middle, www, replace your ride. We give anywhere 45 to 95 vouchers away every month at our monthly meeting. A lot of people take advantage of that. If you don't want a car, you want a transit pass forever, get that too. We'll give you, that's a charging station right next to the car. We'll give you that level 2 charging station. So that's for individuals. On the right, this is for, if you know, a school district that wants to turn in some of those old diesel polluting. We've got the compressed natural gas school buses, and they've given away $280 million since 2001. It's a lot of money for converting those old buses. Now, starting last year, for the first time, it's exciting. We've got, and it's in your packet too, probably, about LA Unified, purchased some of the first electric school buses. Those are great. You just plug them in, they run for a long time and good distance. This is great for your residents or yourselves, council members. Residential EV charger, that's the EV chargers right there. For the governor's plan, we'll give you up to $500 basically to purchase a level 2 charger. That's when it's a 240 volt. The wall outlet's like a 120. Takes anywhere from 4 hours to 9 hours to charge a vehicle. If you don't make that much money, you'll get even more, and Edison can supplement that. So great
Can you get one of those if you've already bought it? Do you get reimbursed?
If you bought one already? I don't think so, but you can go to our ask our staff. Try
Darn.
it. Ask
Okay.
our staff. This is a great program. As you know, South Pass, we started this about 4 or 5 years ago. The gentleman's here to give you a 30-second quick update. We took one of our parks, you know, Garfield Park on Mission Street right there by Fair Oaks. We have a contractor who does all our cutting our grass, our lawns, our library, our soccer fields, baseball fields where I coach. We said, let's try to turn it over to electric lawn equipment, because I grew up cutting grass and it was terrible. And so Dan came from the American Green Zone Alliance, and we converted one park in a year, put it into contract, and then after it was a great success after a year. You have to understand, several years ago, this was like the electric cars. Remember, 10 years ago, they went about 80 miles maximum. Now they go almost 400 miles. And in 10 years, there's Panasonic battery technology. You're going to see 1,000 miles on electric cars. Well, they've come a long way. Now our entire city's electric, our golf course turning it over to electric, and Dan's gonna do a quick demonstration. This is for your commercial landscape people. I don't know if you have a contractor or people on staff that do it, but you can do it like we did, change the contract, and Dan will come and do it hands-on, show them what to do, be there all the time. We've got a program from the federal government now. This will cost in the bottom left, you'll see this is a still leaf blower Dan's gonna demonstrate. Manufacturer suggests almost $1,400. They give it to South Coast at $1,000. We can give you $500. You'll pay, the gardener or the city will pay $500. We're gonna knock that price down to probably $300 in the next couple of months. I made a recommendation to staff to knock it down more. Dan, can you demonstrate this very quick, Mayor, with your permission?
Of course, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Dan, you wanna come up here? Sure.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members. Dan Mabe, American Green Zone Alliance. Really quick, before I do the demonstration, I know that there's tremendous benefits with air pollution improvements, but I wanna stress two other things that we've been able to do with our green zone conversions. And by the way, this is gonna complement what you guys have done with water. I know Cassie from Form LA. She's done a great job here, especially here on your city hall grounds, just amazing. But your noise profile is gonna lower by 40 to 70%, one. And second, the cost of operation benefit. Even without AQMD incentives, I'm just gonna tell you that this electric blower is going to operate anywhere from 15 to 18 cents an hour. Its gas counterpart is going to be anywhere from $1.45 to $1.75 an hour. So instead of pouring two-stroke oil into gasoline, shaking it up and pouring it into an internal combustion engine, you just simply plug in, and then we're going to give you a demonstration.
Okay, Mayor, can I sit next to you for a second?
Absolutely, get up here.
All right, nobody's wearing any toupees, right?
No.
Okay, all right.
Hold on, okay, he's okay.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Hold on. Okay.
Just wanna
Wow. That really works. No, it's good.
Sorry, Mayor.
No, good job. That's the real deal. Awesome.
If used judiciously and
Trying to get it on
correctly,
video.
this particular unit that I'm wearing, the BGA 100, can last for up to 4 hours on one charge if it's used correctly.
Wow.
Good, thank you.
Here, there's also a residential electric lawnmower program. I did this about 12 years ago. I've got a cordless electric, state-of-the-art electric lawnmower. It lasted. Finally, 2 years ago, I gave it to one of my soccer parents, and they're still using it today. And again, follow these 6 steps, and if you have to pay, look at those little circles at the bottom right there. If you pay about $250 for a gas lawnmower, convert over to electric, we'll give you $150. If it's more than $400, we'll give you $200. More than that, we'll give you $250 in rebates. Go to, again, www.aqmd.gov lawnmower. Great program. Never buy gas again. If you want to buy a new heater, if you're changing over your air conditioner this summer and want to get a heater for the winter, we'll give you $500 for a clean, low NOx furnace for the winter months. And just at the bottom, visit cleanairfurnacerebate.com. Your city, you've got businesses that have invested, Mayor. There's money out there for grants, and you can go to Rainbow, who's always here to help us out, staff, and Ben Wong also on staff. They can apply for grants for business, for Clean Fuels program. Again, converting over from diesel or polluting cars or heavy equipment to cleaner ones. And your city's doing a lot, Mayor, I know, Sierra Madre. So each one of your car registrations in your city, you get about 40% of $4 or so each year from every car registration. That adds up every single year you get renewed. So you've got about $122,000 in your balance, and I understand from our staff, looking at purchasing more clean air vehicles. If you can, try to go for the electrics. We've had hybrids in the city. We're converting over to electrics like the Chevy Bolt. And a bunch of cars coming out now are already out. Korean cars are good makes. So keep that up, Mayor. And again, each year it goes up, $20, $30, $40,000. This fund must be used for reducing motor vehicle pollution. So anything that moves, like lawnmowers, cars, things like that, got to reduce pollution changing over. And Mayor, we've got an app, and it's really pretty good. I had staff download it for me. What it is, wherever you are, whatever city, as I go to my different cities, going out to Pomona or even San Dimas a few weeks ago, I was looking at the air quality index. So I'm on a train coming today. Fortunately, Sierra Madre has a better index than South Pasadena, so we measure ozone, particulate matter. But unfortunately, we're all in unhealthy today. It's at level when it's like above 100 is unhealthy. So you're at 115, we're at 136. Malibu is it's 50 range.
Wow.
What's interesting, last week in Bradbury, Tuesday night, I checked, and it depends on wind flow. So Bradbury, Sierra Madre, and South Pass Pack, when I came through, all had significantly better air quality than Malibu. So different wind patterns.
Yeah.
It's really strange. I sat there and I said, you know, all of us have better air than on the beach today. So you can upload this, and if you have a complaint about something, you smell odors, you go in, call the number, or send a complaint. We'll send enforcement people out there to look at it, whatever it is. Mayor, I'd be happy to answer any questions for you or staff.
Thank you, Councilmember. Very good. We have a question and applause from the audience. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. That was very useful. I mean, it seems like the rebates every year just grow, so this is great. Mayor Pro Tem?
You know what I'm gonna ask.
Oh,
I wanna know when you're gonna have lawn blower rebates for residential. I mean, you do it for commercial. I think you're gonna get a bigger bang for the buck, you know, because it's just easier for someone like me. I went and bought one without a rebate. I still got my old gas one. Man, I would have loved to turn that in and got a, rebate to help pay for the new one. And why don't you do that?
Mayor Pro Tem, if you'd be willing to come to the next board meeting, I will, I'm a lone voice out there sometimes.
Okay.
And I've got several board members that support, even on this commercial lawn equipment program. I push them to even get more, get it out there. Every city I go to, I talk to school districts. I've almost got to have Dan go out there, like he's going out to Glendale tomorrow. I met with Glendale, I've been out with Dan with the lawn crew, and after 2 or 3 times, finally, they're looking at using the equipment.
Yeah.
But even with our staff and the, actually just a couple months ago, I said, why don't we have the AQMD grounds maintained with all electric equipment?
Yeah.
It was taking a year. Finally, he said, okay, why not?
Yeah.
And finally,
Wow.
Dan had a meeting with
Walk
staff,
the
and they're going to
talk.
hopefully do it.
Yeah.
But that'll be the first in our
Okay.
district.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, ironic, in the United States to do that. So
Yeah.
if you're to come, I will.
I will
push-
come. I will come.
It's the first Friday in October, and I'll get John. I'll say we're got to
Yeah.
do this, and if we can't, why can't we? So yeah, I'm tired of asking John. I just-
Okay, thank you.
I have a quick question on the vehicle replacement. So if we get the rebate up to whatever it was, $7,000 or $9,000,
$9,500, Mayor.
do you just have to give the car to the district, or who gets the car? The
So,
old car.
It depends on your income. It's usually for lower income, so that most of that category will qualify. But a lot of times they'll have to turn it in and scrap it depending on the type of car it is. If it's really a gross polluter, they just, like with the lawnmowers, when we used to have the lawnmower, they would scrap them right there, take them apart, recycle the oil and gas, and scrap it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's maybe like a 2001 vehicle still running, like my old Prius still goes, probably just sell it somewhere, as long as it's not polluting.
Got it. But the district gets the vehicle.
They will give it out to somebody,
Okay.
whether it's an entity or contractor or something like that, or a scrapper, like we do with the lawnmowers.
Got it.
Just a couple dumb questions. Very inspired by your presentation.
Thanks,
Really
Councilmember.
am. And I'm going to be contacting you about a few other things. Diesel conversion, you're now giving $61,000 to convert a diesel
Truck.
to CNG.
To CNG, yes.
Doesn't that just about cover the cost of a diesel engine?
It's
Isn't
not to
a-
convert it, is it? It's to buy a
To
new
get
one.
new
Buy a new
It's
one.
a new one, right.
New one, yeah.
Does that,
To replace your vehicle.
how does that compare to the cost of the diesel engine? Is that a full replacement
I
cost?
don't know the exact cost. We've been doing
Must
this
be pretty close.
Gene, we've been doing this for 20 years. I mean, we do it especially with the first we really started with buses.
Mhm.
And now almost all buses are CNG or becoming
Right,
electric.
right, sure.
Refuse trucks
Mhm.
are CNG, now some are becoming electric. It's just, I mean, I remember some meetings on the agenda, there was all these different companies, whether it was Waste Management or, what's the other big ones?
Athens.
Athens, we use Athens. We were giving, almost $1 million every company just to convert over from the diesel.
That's fantastic.
I think we have all CNG
Yeah.
trash trucks here.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
took, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, we finally got all CNG in South Pass too.
Yeah.
Now, the CNG is just for diesel and not for gasoline conversion, right?
For what, large vehicles?
Anything.
So, if it's heavy-duty vehicles, like some of these that replace your the voucher incentive program, those are for medium-duty
Okay.
and heavy-duty. So I'm not sure what the poundage is. Like on heavy-duty,
But you do convert for gas too.
I'm not sure. If you call that number, I'll have our,
Okay,
we can
okay.
we can find that answer out.
I mean, I know why diesel would be the top priority. It's much dirtier, but it would seem
Replace
like,
your ride that would be for gas or anything.
right, right. And one question about your blower, how long does it take to charge that?
That particular backpack blower will take around 3 hours to charge. But the thing about it is lithium, and it has a battery management system inside of it. So it's not by memory. You can actually do supplemental charges throughout the day, up and down all day, because it's not by memory. It's by a BMS. So.
Thank you.
Gene, at our Garfield Park, which is 8 to 9 acres, I watched Dan train them. When I walk the dog during the mornings, I see him start cutting the grass and doing the weed whackers and leaf blowers. And they've got right by our restrooms where we have the charging area. They're plugging in. They've got 3 or 4 batteries plugging in for all this equipment, and the men and women are blowing, but they can't go for 4 hours straight. None of us, because you're going to hurt your back. So they're going to blow for a couple hours, take a 10-15 minute break, and by that time, if the battery's down, take the other battery, plug in, put the other battery to charge. And again, when Dan first started, the big lawnmowers, the 60 inches, I just saw the guy riding around the other day, and he's flying around the park in that thing, like an electric car. He used to put 4 batteries in the back. It would take 8 hours to cut. Now it's 1 battery and like 4 hours to cut the whole park. And that thing goes like you don't hear a sound. And the residents love it because they're like, Mike, we don't hear a sound in the morning. You walk your dogs, the dogs aren't afraid because it's like a vacuum cleaner.
Mm-hmm. One last thing, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. This was not a forced thing. We really did team up with the vendor. I know you guys use, I think it was merchants. We really do come in and demonstrate to them that the cost of operation benefit to them and their worker health is tremendous, and it should not cost the city any more to do this work electrically. And it is verified. We do inventory the gas use, and we give you an impact report about your improvements when you do your conversion.
Have you spoken with our vendor yet? I'm looking at.
No, it's my first time here, but
Yeah, we'll do that.
the clerk has my card, and if you guys wanted, we can come out and show your vendor the equipment.
Yeah, just if you follow up with staff, we should definitely do that. You had a comment?
Yeah, just for the listening audience, I just want you to realize that Mr. Cacciati here is a guy who walks the talk. He goes to a lot of meetings like this, and he rides his bike and rides public transportation everywhere he goes. So I just want to commend him. I mean, he's a really good example of a really dedicated public servant, and you should all be thankful we have people like him that serve the public in their best interest.
Mayor Pro Tem, it was tough coming up that hill from the gold line.
But no, we're extremely lucky to have you. So thank you, council member. And these things work. I mean, it's same with water. The little differences in one person's life or one business's life really work. And I'm seeing Robert Parkhurst, who's on our ENER commission and also the Clean Power Alliance, can speak to it. This is how you change. This is a huge issue that you're getting at, which is air quality. But you have to do it kind of person by person and business by business. And so it really is important. And you're spending millions of dollars, obviously, in the San Gabriel Valley doing it. So we need to be better as a council, probably promoting it, frankly, and probably even utilizing it individually. So thanks for reminding us every year.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to thank Rochelle, who spends her time as a volunteer on one of our committees, local government and small business, every month or so, and just does a lot in the community and giving us great advice.
Great.
And I would just like to say, so in May, I traded in my Ray for a plug-in.
Oh, great.
And I work in Linwood, and so I can get all the way down to Linwood on half a charge and all the way back. And I used to gas up my RAV4 twice a week, and now I gas up once a month.
Wow.
Wow.
Incredible.
That's awesome.
Your reduction of pollution is incredible, too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, appreciate it. We will go on to presentation number 2, and it's the annual report for our Sierra Madre Library from City Librarian Christine Smart.
We're going to count this as a missed opportunity to bring my bubble machine.
Oh.
Can you go get it and bring it back?
I could. Can you wait a few minutes? I don't know that this is working. Firstly, I want to thank you all for your continued support of such a foundational institution in our community. I personally have spent my career in libraries, having worked in 12 libraries across 4 states.
Oh.
And I can tell you that our library is a very special place. Whereas many things in our lives have been reduced to screens, disconnectedness, and division, a public library allows people to ask questions about the world and find the answers. to paraphrase Barbara Bush. And throughout a year of significant change for the library, its use and presence remains constant, and the love of the library, as always, thrives. So patrons report, I love our library. Timely and informative programming. Always polite, caring, and considerate. Incredibly amazing teen volunteers, although that might have been self-reported. Great library, great team, and this is the best place ever. Our slogan, Read, Discover, Connect, shines through the faces of participants who are engaging in their community in new and compelling ways every day. During our year of change, volunteers have become increasingly crucial to facilitate the library's offerings with programs such as 3D printing, coding, and art workshops provided by volunteers and curated by library staff. Here you can see one of our morning volunteers showcasing new puppets provided by the Friends of the Library, a coding workshop, teen summer volunteers, and some other workshops. We even have our police dropped in on one of our art workshops. Next, I would like to highlight the grants and donations we've received this year. In addition to the invaluable donations by the Friends of the Library, staff has procured several grants to provide vital community services, adding up to nearly $100,000, more than 10% of our budget. California Revealed is a state-funded initiative to help California's public libraries, in partnership with other local heritage groups, to digitize, preserve, and serve online historically significant Californiana. So the staff at the Sierra Madre Public Library, namely Debbie Henderson, nominated 4 items: a dictionary of Sierra Madre, bits from Wall's etched books, highlights, and the Sierra Madre News, and all 4 nominations were accepted. And it should be noted that the Sierra Madre Public Library has the most complete collection of the Sierra Madre News, and now that history will be forever saved and available statewide. The Scenic Broadband Grant has provided free high-speed internet and Wi-Fi to our community. The ongoing service costs nearly $20,000, and more than 80% of that is paid for by the state of California. And Growing Together Pasadena is a new initiative which will be rolled out in November, providing toys, extensive training, and other vital services to Sierra Madre, including a new program called the Parent Cafe, which invites parents into our spaces to visit and bond, learn and grow, and provides a valuable contribution to the work of building the foundation of our community. While our statistics do reflect the modifications in service that have been made this year, with program attendance taking the greatest impact at a reduction of attendance at 20%, the library's circulating materials and access to reference resources remains vital to the public. And in the last year, library offerings have expanded to include circulating robots, Cricut machines, 3D printing, increased use of educational tablets, puzzles, games, and more. Programming surrounding the library's Cricut crafting machine, 3D printing, and virtual realities especially bring in new users into the library and are mostly available to patrons to use at their own time. This coming year, the library is excited to resume our rigorous programming and outreach schedule in an effort to see increases in patron count and program attendance, implement new community improvement programs with the helps of grants, continue to update the library policy manual, and rethink staffing and needs for the future of the library through the use of RFID technologies and improved facilities. And that's it. Thank you very much. I do want to introduce one of the newest additions. This is Layla Regan. Icing on the top, we poached her from Monrovia, so.
Way to go.
She is our new children's librarian and just started about a month ago.
Welcome.
Excellent. Welcome.
Thank you. I love it over there. You're not gonna get rid of me.
Good. Good. Excellent. Welcome.
Are there any questions?
That's a great presentation. Very nice.
Nice
Yeah.
presentation. You're doing a great job.
What's a Cricut machine?
I was just gonna ask that.
Yeah.
Come see it. So it's a crafting machine. We actually initially bought it for the library to use, but with all of our additions of 3D printing, we decided to make it a public use. It's a crafting machine, so you can actually cut leather, you can cut paper and other crafts. So we've made leather earrings using it with the teenagers. Actually, the adults really like that one too. Leather bracelets. It's great for signage and things for internal use, and it's just a lot of fun.
How does it cut?
It actually, so you lay your material on a flat adhesive surface, and it feeds in like a printer would. And there's a cutting blade, and you can actually use other materials too, like pens and things that'll write for you. So if you want a calendar for the month of December, you can download it onto your own device for 99 cents or use one of the free things, put your paper in, and it does all of the work for you.
I think Mayor Pro Tem is going to be bringing some wood in.
You would have to, I hate to say this, you'd have to go to Pasadena, but the library provides information even if we don't have the service. So we're happy to provide you with that information.
Okay.
Here's a quick question, and this isn't, if you don't know the answer, don't worry, but why is it on overdrive? Are there a certain amount of licenses for electronic books? You would think that if 90 people wanted the same electronic book, they could all have it, but there's this weird way of like creating, a limited amount of them so that people have to wait 2 weeks to get their book after, they have to turn it in.
That's an interesting question, and there's actually multiple models for digital resources. We currently subscribe to Overdrive because we are part of a consortium of small libraries, and we all coalesce together to provide services where we couldn't provide as much. Ebooks are more expensive, and they are
Why?
in
Yeah,
the
why?
same model. So ebooks are more expensive than physical books, and they're under the same model as a physical material. So publishers provide you access to one user, one book in most cases. There are some times where publishers, like the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter, then the Sorcerer's Stone, they allowed anyone to use it at any time. They could do that for whatever they would like to. But the typical model is one user, one book, and you purchase the rights for maybe 50 circulations of that item, and then it goes away. So your $80 purchase for an ebook, which is about the cost of a brand new David Baldacci book, for example, it would provide service for one person at a time, similarly to the model of a book checking out at the library.
Yeah. So
There are now publishers that are saying they're going to limit libraries to the amount of copies that we can purchase. It doesn't affect us as heavily because we weren't able to purchase multiple copies in the first place, but it is an ongoing issue.
Yeah, it's all publishers. Got it. Okay. Well, that's too bad. Any other questions?
It's just like anything else. A good thing is worth waiting for.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. We're going to keep the library theme going here. We have a presentation from the Sierra Madre Library Foundation, and I think Pat Hall is going to be giving it.
Excuse me. I'm Tricia Hall, 382 East Montecito Avenue, and I'm losing my voice. Okay. I just want to give you a really concise report of what we've done. So later on, if there are any questions.
Is that microphone working?
Is this on?
Yeah,
Kinda.
Okay.
Am I close enough? Okay? We're okay?
No, you can talk. They'll probably adjust it. Yeah.
Gonna fix it?
No, go ahead. You're
Okay. Many libraries in recent years have created foundations to provide funding and improvement in capital equipment. So the prospect of a new Sierra Madre library, a possibility, a committee made up of volunteers was formed to create the Sierra Madre Library Foundation in August of 2018. Hardly seems like a year ago. Fortunately, we were able to recruit 5 members who previously served on a similar committee in 2005. They are Bart Doyle, attorney, past city council member, Fred Wesley, architect, who has been doing renderings for the library for 20 plus years, Rob Stockley, past city council member, Tony Buckner, past director of library services, and me. In addition, Rich Proctor, current member of the Library Board of Trustees, a great public speaker and writer, was recruited to help achieve our goal of involving the trustees in various phases of the planning process. The first meeting of the committee was held in August of 2018 to determine the documents needed to form a foundation. A request was made to the Friends of the Library for $20,000 to cover the costs of incorporations, application fees, etc. The mission statement, the bylaws, articles of incorporation, all applications to the state and federal authorities, including the 501c3 determination, was completed by the October meeting. Since the IRS requires names of officers on the application, interim officers were appointed until such time as a foundation board can be in place. A little aside here, Rob Sockley missed that meeting, so he became the treasurer. So, the request for the $20,000 payable in two $10,000 installments, it was $10,000 up front and $10,000 as needed, was approved by the Friends board. A checking account was opened at Chase and a P.O. box was obtained at the Sierra Madre post office. In January, we engaged the services of Periscope Designs to help create a website, logo, brochures, and response cards, which you have there. A conflict of interest document was drawn up and was signed by all. An event to introduce the foundation to the community was held in April at the library, and the website, Sierra Madre Foundation.org, went online. Most of the narrative you'll see in the brochures and on the website was written by the members of the committee. The committee then decided to reach out to community groups to make them aware of the issues facing the library and possible solutions, one being a new library. The first priority were the schools, to be followed by local organizations such as service clubs. Rob Stockley took the lead in conducting the presentations at the school, and trustee Shannon King helped with scheduling the appointments, while Tony and I concentrated on the service clubs and other community groups. A few presentations have already been made and others are scheduled. In May, approval of the foundation's 501c3 status was received from the IRS. So we are now official and legal. In June, Fred Wesley wrote a request for proposal for the library design to be sent to architectural firms that were recommended to us. 3 firms responded. Tony formed a committee to craft questions to be asked during the interview process. The committee included a member of the Friends, Foundation Committee, and library trustee, Rod Spears, among others. The interviews were held in July, and the firm PBWS was chosen. The cost for their services was $120,000. The Friends of the Library voted to allocate the $120,000 plus $10,000 for possible overrides or additional expenses. The Friends have contracted with PBWS for the design of the library. So it's not the foundation or anyone else, it's the Friends that have contracted with the firm. Christine Smart, our city librarian, and who's been a great help to us, along with the representatives of the Friends and the foundation, have been meeting with the architect to help plan the design. Public meetings have been scheduled for community input. Our plan is to continue to outreach programs in the community. We will start raising funds when a decision has been made as to how the library's problems will be solved. No matter what the decision, the library must have a foundation. At this time, I'd like to address in the area of the community input meetings. This is not a foundation project, nor is it even a Friends project. It's a community project. To meet the needs of the people of this community, for adults as well as children. That is why the input from the members in the community is going to be invaluable, because we need to know what your needs are, and so when you come to these meetings, please make an effort to attend one. I think there's going to be 3 I think 2 have already been scheduled. There'll be another one in November. This is going to be your space, the space for the community, the space to gather, the space to read, the space to learn. So that's it. And if there's any questions that I can answer, fine. If not, I have my learned colleagues here with me tonight. They can answer. I learned many, many years ago, when you become chair of a committee or president of an organization, you always recruit people that are smarter than you. So if there are any questions or Rich, you have a question? No. Okay.
He's just waving to us.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. And my colleagues have questions?
Yes. How are you publicizing the community meetings? And this is the first I've heard of it, and I'm concerned that you're not gonna...
It's just now been going online. Christine has just set those up. It's taken time to set it up because getting the architects and all the people involved together at one meeting hasn't been easy. So there's going to be a poster, and I think it's going to be posted somewhere on the website, the library website. I think there's one there. Saturday is October 12th at 4 p.m. They're going to be at different times. I think they're going to stagger one and have like one 7 o'clock in the morning for people, you know. Okay, you got... Why are you letting me rattle on?
Christine to the rescue.
So we just set the date on Saturday. We are doing a social media push, and it will be in the paper hopefully this weekend, and flyers around town taking it to the groups, the meetings that are going on.
Are you going to have some at the Friends of the Library on the Friday night?
Absolutely. Will you be there?
Yes.
I will be there.
You will be there.
Yes,
You're
with bells on.
And the purpose of the meeting is to gather input, I mean, on like the design of the library, basically?
Yes. So with the help of the Friends of the library staff and members of the Library Foundation, Friends are all on the client team for the working with PBWS. And we are working to coalesce into what we think is a great idea and a plan, but nothing will move forward without the input from the community, and we want to make sure that everyone has that moment to take a look at what we're doing. We will be talking to the Planning Commission at their meeting next week and inviting them to join us as well.
Okay,
I
so, yeah.
One last comment, personal comment, if I may. This has been an amazing committee. Their enthusiasm and commitment knows no bounds. It's been a privilege to serve as their chair. And none of this could have happened without the support of the Friends of the Library. So, friends, thank you.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, we still have, I think we still have a few more questions here, so.
You're not going to get off that easy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Should have
But
clapped
you've
just
got a
yet.
great team. Just come up and bail her out as needed here. No, but I mean, these are just, we're actually very interested in this, of course, but when you say that you're waiting to make a determination of what's going to happen, my understanding is you're all working with the goal of replacing our library with a new library. So you're at some point going to come to the council with a very specific proposal for an up and down vote? I mean, what are we looking at here? And say if that's what you're intending, and you get the approval that you're looking for, then you're going to start actively raising money for it? Is that...
Okay, here's how it works. Until we have something to raise money for, the original purpose is for the new library, for the foundation, was to raise the money to equip the building, technology, whatever. And that process takes a feasibility study to find out exactly how much we can raise, because we really don't know. We can ballpark anything, but it takes a feasibility study to see how much we can raise. The reason we also don't have a foundation board, so to speak, you can't ask people to be on a foundation board unless they know why they're there. And unless we have a firm commitment, whether it's a new library or whatever, then they'll know why they're there. Because when the criteria to be on the foundation board is $10,000, a fee of $10,000, either personal or raise $10,000 to be on the board. So those people aren't going to make that commitment unless they know they have something to be committed to.
So who is actually putting together the proposal for the new library? Is that the Friends of the Library?
Well, I don't know. Does by any learned friends back here know? Rob, do you know?
It's okay.
Please. Attention. Attention.
The question was who's putting together the
Board
formal
of Trustees,
presentation
the Friends of the
proposal.
Library, and the library and the foundation have made the decision to build a new library, that we need to build a new library. Now, you may have to answer this question because I don't know.
Okay, so the question is, who's
Puts the
putting the
proposal.
proposal together?
Yes, yes.
So that's what the Friends are doing. They're
Okay.
hiring the architects so that they can bring before the council the proposed project. Because we can't ask for community to support us financially without a project. So the idea of these community meetings is to get to the point where we have a project that we can say, here it is.
Okay.
Yeah, because the architects now that have been chosen are actually doing a design. They're not doing the design of the building. It's the layout of the library on the inside, a floor plan, if you will. And so that's what the community meetings are going to be about, for people to give their input on how they like the floor plan or not, and where they think that things should be. And since it's going to be their library, they need to have the input. So
And it's at that point we'll know the cost.
Yeah.
It's a estimated cost. It's not a set of plans you put out for bid.
Sure.
That part will come after the money is
And you're,
pledged by the community.
okay, this is probably a silly question, because I'm sure you're aware of it, but you do know that there's a timeline that we have to, if we're going to go ask the voters to vote on this, that we've got to back up from there.
Yes.
And you're, okay, so you're
I think
on top of that.
The schedule is for us to come back to the city council by January and say, this is how much we think we need to raise for a parcel tax.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
because they should have the figures in by January, end of December, January.
yeah, okay. All right, that's very helpful, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think, and I just think with a couple more questions or.
Just a comment, and my question was, what was the expectation that you are hoping for a decision from City Council? But I think you answered that. But a comment, I'm hoping that in addition to the town hall forums that you're having and that you are inviting people to, I'm hoping using existing meetings and existing groups to go there. And so you're not recreating another meeting for folks to come to. And I imagine there are a lot of people that cross over in the different committees and in the different organizations where you can have that opportunity to have people who may not otherwise come to the town hall forum to provide input into some of what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
We've been going to PTA meetings
Yeah.
and existing
Rotary
scheduled
clubs,
meetings,
Mhm.
trying
Kiwanis
to get
clubs,
to
yeah.
anybody we can think of. So if you've got any ideas of a group that wants to hear about it,
Yeah.
we're ready to go.
Or if you're volunteering,
Hmm?
we're happy to host you.
We're always
Come on over.
volunteering.
You know, we're
House.
also asking people, because last time around, we had some people that held presentations in their homes and invited their neighbors. That was quite successful.
Yeah.
So that's a real possibility. We haven't really pushed that yet, but we will. Okay. Thank you.
Hold on, Pat. We're a couple more questions, I think.
I actually don't have a question. I just wanted to make a quick comment. I've been privileged to be able to sit in on some of the foundation board meetings over the last year. And it's been a lot of fun. I just want to say thanks for allowing me to do that. And it's my observation, and it's just my opinion, that we have top flight people here who are making a huge commitment of their time and their reputations. And I think this is a very serious enterprise. They're taking it very seriously, very professionally. And so far the work product has been fantastic, and I'm hoping and I think that I have confidence that what they bring back to us in January is going to be something special, because they're doing it the right way, and it's something that I think we're all going to be very proud of when it's all over with.
Thank you, Jean. I hate to bring this up, but all of this work has been done by 6 people.
Yeah. Councilman Del Mar, or so I'll just I'll finish it off with unsolicited feedback / comments. So this is all well and good. You guys seem to all be working really well together, the Friends and the Foundation and our library staff, and we all work really well up here together. But usually when we get something done, one of us takes the lead and the other support. And what I would really like to just kind of emphatically emphasize to you guys is the time is now for someone to really take the lead and push forward. And if that's the Friends, it's the Friends. If it's the Foundation, it's the Foundation. But I do think that you could community input this to death. We've had community input on the library for 20 or 30 years. And I think it's important, but I also think it's important to have someone leading the charge on a project that is going to hit timelines and the dates on that timeline in a really efficient way. And so January might be good. I would even like to see it in December, because I think if we're going to get this on the November 2020 ballot.
December.
Yeah, so I just think that this is all very, very invigorating, and I'm glad this is happening. To hit these timelines, I do think that there needs to be a quarterback. And I don't know who internally is going to be that quarterback, but when everyone is kind of looking to each other for leadership, things can take longer than they need to. And I think you have a great team. I think you really do. But a great team needs a great quarterback. And so don't take that as, a negative comment. But I think that we've been now talking about it, I think, these two bodies, you and us, for quite a bit now too, right? And so I think that in order to get something done, and this is coming from a good place, which is wanting to see it get done, I think someone's got to kind of take the reins. And so I don't know who that is. You guys can talk about it, but I think sooner rather than later that decision should be made.
Well, we're in the process too of recruiting some more people to be, do some of these presentations and whatever, because 6 people can't do it.
Sometimes 1 is better than 6, right? I mean, that's the point.
We do have a timeline. Tony has put hi.
Yeah.
Tony has put together a timeline, and we do have a timeline back, from 2020. Go ahead, Rich.
I just wanted to, before this is all over, I just wanted to make sure we acknowledge Patricia Hall. She acknowledged our board. Patricia Hall has been fighting for this since, backing up from 2005. That would be, did you start in 2003 or 2004?
Started in 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so 15 years. Patricia Hall has been someone who has been fighting for this. And she has been leading this process. She has opened her home for meetings. She has consistently done the work that needs to be done. I think you'll be happy to know that I understand exactly what you're saying about somebody needs to fight for this, and she's been leading the fight. And we have done the groundwork to move forward with this with all due haste, I think. I mean, when I walk into the library, after being on this foundation, when I walk into the library, I have a different thought than I used to have. When I walk into that library today, I think to myself, a group of people in Sierra Madre were courageous in 1953, and they said, we've got a good public library, but we could have something better. And we are going to do something courageous and for people who are going to enjoy this place long after we've gone. And we, the people of Sierra Madre, now have the power to be able to do that, to do something that is going to provide value to the community for 8 generations, long after we have left this mortal coil. So we are enthusiastic and excited about this, and we are going to take it to the community, and we're going to give them the opportunity
to get the
Mhm.
library that they want and deserve.
No, that's great. No, thanks, Rich. I think that's.
My sage.
Well, and look, and I think that is again, thank you for that. And I think, though, I'll just point out that we had heard that the Friends were going to be the ones bringing the formal proposal to us, but Pat is the quarterback who is on the foundation, and this is kind of what I'm getting at, which is there needs to be coalescing the community is one thing. Having someone in the individual who is going to be that main person driving it home, if you will, is another. So I just think that internally, the sooner that we get that figured out, the better. And individuals up here and have and will continue to help.
So, Mayor, you're not talking about like an individual. You're saying which organization is going to take the
Yes,
lead,
and
and who in that organization is going
to hit these deadlines and to get and I think that's important. The process is just as important as anything else. So, but I think the point is taken. So,
Agreed.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we will move on to items on the agenda and our consent calendar. Madam City Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Consent item 1A, consideration of resolution 19-48 approving certain demands. Item 1B, San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District 2018 water delivery payment. Item 1C, consideration of approval of issue an RFP for fiscal year 2019 to 2020 street improvement project. And the final one is item 1D, consideration of resolution 19-52, amending the terms and conditions of employment for full-time fire department employees. And that includes the consent calendar items.
Thank you. Any questions on any of the items? We can go one by one, or if someone just has.
Not a question, but a comment for D.
Yep.
I just want to make sure that the community knows that for the firefighter, changing the employment for the full-time fire department, we do have, the union has agreed to that as well. Correct, City Manager? Okay.
Great. And I do see we are up to date within the TNC. Any other questions on D or A, B, and C? No. Okay. If not, I'll open it up to public comment for any of these items. And see none, we'll come back. Any comments? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
I'll take that as a move and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will abstain because my street is subject to being paved here.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
which of course I'm very happy about, but
Abstain as to C then?
yeah.
Okay. Great. Noted. We will move on to item 2A, appointment of a partial term on the Planning Commission.
Evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Council is tonight being asked to consider an appointment to fill a partial vacancy on the Planning Commission. Members of the Planning Commission are appointed to serve for 4 years, and they're appointed by the City Council. Earlier this year, Commissioner Gina Fireman Hunt resigned her position. It was an unexpected vacancy, and it's left a term that's still good until June 30th of 2021. A total of 2 applications have been received. The city staff has advertised the vacancies on social media, the city's electronic newsletter, on the city's website, and through other modems. We've received 2 applications. Currently, the process is that once city staff receives 3 applications, we bring the applications forward to City Council, but we've only received 2 applications, and since the vacancy is more than 6 months, at the direction of the City Council, we brought this forward to tonight's council meeting. Now, it has become increasingly and progressively difficult to fill vacancies on commission meetings. Currently, there are 2 other commissions that hold vacancies. One is the Energy, Environment, and Natural Resources that has 2 vacancies, and the Senior Community Commission also has a vacancy. Both vacancies occurred over the summer, so they've only been a few weeks, and the city has not received any applications for either commission. So this evening, the city council is being asked to consider appointments to the planning commission, and both applicants indicated that they would be here this evening to meet with council if it is their desire. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. And I do think both of the applicants are here. And the applicants are Cole Butler and Peggy Dallas. And both are here. So thank you very much. I think what we'll do is invite them both if they would like to say a few words, and we could ask them questions if council members have questions. So I'll go in just alphabetical order. Cole Butler.
Good evening.
Hi. You can give a statement, or if anyone has questions for you, it's really up to you. If you would like to say something, you can.
Well, you've read my CV. Local resident, architect. Served the city for a few years in other commissions. I was asked to put in an application.
I was want to just comment, you know, I mean, we do have people that are watching on TV, and I think, you know, to tell a little bit about your background is helpful, just so the public knows who is a candidate for the position. We've read it, of course.
Fair enough.
We've talked to you, and so.
Out there in Sierra Madre land. I'm a licensed architect in California, and in Nevada I've done resort work, residential work. I was a planning commissioner for the town of Truckee in Northern California. I participated in general plan updates. I moved to Sierra Madre in 2008. I participated on the Green Building Committee. Then it merged with the Tree Committee, and we were Energy Environmental Resource Commission. I'm not sure how long I was there, James. 4 years or so. I came and spoke at a community meeting a couple of months ago, and someone said, you should really fill out an application and see if you could share your time. So I had some conversations with Vincent Gonzalez, and I still wasn't sure if I was the right fit for the group that I see meeting today. Perhaps James knows me best out of anyone in this room, having sit with me for many meetings. I just, I'm very interested in not just sustainability, but regenerative architecture. I'm interested in being a leader and future forward thinking. I think that architects have a lot of responsibility for what we do and why we do it, and educating the property owner. So again, I'm not sure that I'm the same voice that I hear on the Planning Commission right now, but if you're interested in something different to add to that mix, then perhaps I would be of value. But I do wonder, I mean, I'm just being completely honest, that I have something to say, certainly. And a lot of my clients that live here in Sierra Madre can't do projects for the Planning Commission because the costs are prohibitive, or they have small houses, or small with like less than 2,000 square feet, and you know, I can't give them just a second bathroom without it, you know, it becoming a bigger project sometimes for them, or anyway, maybe there's a place that I can help. So the first thing to do was to fill out the application, which I did. And I'm a little bit here because I'm just wondering if this is where I'm supposed to serve. I'm happy to answer questions. And
Great. Thank you, Cole.
you're welcome.
Any questions?
I would just like to quick follow-up. Thank you for applying very much. Your experience in helping clients here try to build in Sierra Madre.
Sure.
Don't you see that as kind of a I don't know, not an official duty, but something that you would kind of expect to be able to do on the planning commission if you saw maybe fees were too high or not oriented a certain way, or the dialogue wasn't correct and it kind of discouraged people from building? Wouldn't that be something that you would want to bring into the mix?
It would be impossible for me not to comment about those things. That's why I wonder if I'm the right fit in the other dialogue of Eichler conversations. I see the opinions of my clients. So I would definitely have to change the hat and be respectful that now I'm the voice of the people, voice of the town, not of an individual. So I get that. I just see clients are discouraged because of fees. Clients, I don't want to say that this has ever happened, but people say, why would I spend all that money? Why should I even, you know, like they're encouraged to do it under the radar sometimes because they feel an impact, and they're just, you know, moving. They bought the house 15 years ago for what is like a nice price, and now they're empty nesters. They just want to stay here in Sierra Madre. But a lot of times when I talk to clients and tell them this is the process for what you want to just invest in your own property, they sell their house and they move to Altadena, and then I do a project for them in the county where they can do all kinds of things. So it would be impossible for me not to comment about the $475 that it costs to give Vincent a stack of papers. It's just a lot. It was excessive. I can comment about my client experience.
Well, that's okay. You answered my question. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Cole.
You're welcome.
And then Mrs. Dallas?
Hi, I'm Peggy Dallas, and I'm a licensed architect here in California. I moved to Sierra Madre in 2015. I grew up in East Pasadena, right by the high school, and went to UCLA, then up to UC Berkeley, where I got a degree in Bachelor's of Arts in Architecture. Then worked for 10 years in the LA area. The best place was Walt Disney Imagineering, and I got to work on the new Fantasyland back in 1984. That was really fun. But I also got some really good education there from, you know, the story makers of architecture, and, you know, how architecture works with people and tells them stories and things. And then I got married and moved up to the Bay Area and lived in Los Gatos in the Silicon Valley area. But Los Gatos is a very similar town to Sierra Madre, and that's a lot of small town character and foothills, and people are very guarded about keeping it small and you know, not making it impossible for the young and old to live there. And it since I was raising a family, I spent a lot of time volunteering, first with the general plan. We rewrote the general plan in 2000 for the next 20 years, and so I worked on a large group twice, 2 years. There's a Task Force 1 and a Task Force 2, and we wrote the entire general plan. And then from there I spent about 8 to 10 years on their Architectural Standards Committee, where I helped with the writing of the hillside guidelines and standards, and also got to comment on projects that were coming through relative to that, and that was a very good experience. And family grew up. we sold the house. I moved down here. My mother's 92, still living in East Pasadena. And I liked Los Gatos, so I thought, I took a second look at Sierra Madre. It never really clicked on me when I was younger. And I went, oh my, that's just like Los Gatos. If I go downtown, I'll see people I know. And it's, you know, and it's just really sweet. And I especially love this town because the people are really nice. And Los Gatos is the small town thing, but there were a lot of, some of the people weren't as nice. the money gets in there, I don't know. And so I just love this little town. And I'm looking to get more involved. And so I too was approached by somebody, and the first thought was, I don't think so. I've spent all this time volunteering. I want to actually spend more time doing architecture. But it's hard to build a practice in a small town when you don't know anybody yet. So I thought, why don't I give the Planning Commission a try? And so I come with a lot of experience, and I think I'd enjoy it and be good at it. But I don't have the on-the-ground experience that Ms. Butler has, so I don't, you know, I don't know what you guys are going to do.
Tough choice.
Yes.
Any questions? Thank you for that.
How long were you in Los Gatos?
About 25 years.
It's beautiful up there.
It is beautiful, yeah.
It is a lot like Sierra Madre.
It is, yeah.
When we moved to the Bay Area, we came to Sierra Madre, and I said, looks a lot like where we came from. So,
Yes.
Yeah. Good question. I looked at your website, and you have some amazing homes posted there. Were those all built in the Los Gatos area?
Some were in Los Gatos, some were in Saratoga.
Okay, but they were all in the north.
Yes, I was working for about 4 years with a local architect there, and a lot of those are with work I did with him. And so.
Very impressive.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So we'll open this up really quickly, and rarely does someone have a public comment about one of the applicants, but if someone would like to speak about this nomination, please come forward. And seeing no one, we'll bring it back, and how we usually do it is someone will just volunteer to kick off and tell us who they're supporting, and I'll say I've spoken to both, and I think we'd probably all agree that we would like both of them to be on the Planning Commission, and they're both extremely qualified, and really this is a great situation to be in, which we're often in, which is you can't go wrong. So thank you both for applying. You're both, I mean, qualifications-wise, spectacular, and obviously demeanor-wise, really refreshing. So thank you for that, and now I'm going to give it to my colleagues. It's always great to be the first one to go. So which one of you wants to do it?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem.
All right, like you, I spoke to both and am impressed with both. And again, we have one opening, but we're going to have more openings pretty soon as well. I'm just going to, my vote would be for Cole Butler for a couple of reasons. All things being equal, she's been in the town longer. She has volunteered on the Ener Commission and the predecessor to that. And honestly, I just like her. What she's talking about here is coming from the point of view of the applicant. I think that's would be a valuable addition to our planning commission. And so she's my vote, but I'm also very, very impressed, and just hope that Peggy would, apply again as soon as we do have an opening. I think they both can serve very well. So that's my recommendation.
Okay.
You can go next.
All right.
Yes, thank you so much for applying, both of you. As you know, this position has been open for quite a while, and I think we'll have another position open sometime soon. Both of you extremely qualified. One thing I wanted to share with Ms. Butler regarding your comments, it's good to have an opposing view, and we're not expecting for any of our commissioners to agree on anything. Us as a city council don't always agree, and it's important to have those differing opinions, especially when we have a very vocal and assertive planning commission. So we need to make sure people are providing their opinions. I want to put my nomination in for Miss Dallas. The Los Gatos piece really did stand out to me. I'm from Northern California. is very similar feel to Sierra Madre. But I think what was stood out the most for me is your involvement in the master planning and the general plan, is having that background and understanding how important that piece is for the foundation of guiding Planning Commission and all of our other commissions and the work that we do in City Council. I think would be extremely valuable. I started on a commission after living here for 2 or 3 years. Do not know how I got on, because we typically do lean towards those that have been in the city for quite a while. But I think your newness of 4 years can add some value and a voice to the Planning Commission that'll be, I think, would be valuable.
Thank you. Councilmembers Delmar or Goss?
Okay.
Okay.
First, again, I want to thank both of you for applying. Very impressive, both of you, and I echo the comments of the Mayor Pro Tem. I would like to see both of you serving on the commission. Very sincere about that. I kind of see apples and oranges, 2 different personalities, 2 different skill sets, even though you're both architects. And the longevity in the town has always been an issue for me. I don't know if that's a kind of arbitrary standard, but to me, that's about the only difference that I can detect between the 2 of you, because I think that you each would bring some very useful things to our Planning Commission and to our community in different ways. I do like what Cole Butler said about coming in from the client's point of view. After all, government is here as a servant to the people, not the other way around. So I think that's my preference at this time. I'd like to support her with a strong request for Ms. Dallas to come back as quickly as possible, because you'll get my vote next time around.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, I think you're going to have to break the tie, because I would, I'm going to throw my support to Ms. Dallas, only because a couple reasons. One, I understand the longevity and been here longer, but also been here like 2 years and ended up chairing the General Plan Committee. I liked her freshness. Also, being from Los Gatos, I know it's a lot like Sierra Madre, and I think she would be a really good voice for us on the Planning Commission.
Thank you, and I'm so glad I get to break the tie. And
Mayor?
Yes.
I don't know if this will help you with your decision, but we will have a vacancy on June 30th when Commissioner Desai terms out.
Great.
So that may help you in your
Excellent.
decision.
Well, we're going to have to make sure that Ms. Dallas comes back, because I'm going to be voting for Ms. Butler. And again, I could talk for a long time about why I'm supporting Ms. Butler over Ms. Dallas, but I will just go straight to the punch. You need to come back, and when June 30th comes around, we would love to have you on the Planning Commission. And we talked about this, today over the phone. I think you would be great, and I do think Ms. Butler's, background and historic kind of service to the community was what tipped me, but I would love to see you stay involved. And we've done this before where we try to get people back and they don't come back, so I don't know what we're going to be able to do to kind of keep you involved, but thank you for applying, and thank you for your interest. My support would be for Ms. Butler, and at that, I would ask for a motion, or I'll just make the motion. I would nominate Cole Butler for the vacancy.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And Cole, I do know that. Go ahead. I don't know if you want to say something or.
I would like to be able, if this is appropriate, to offer the position to Peggy, in that I would be interested in the June revisit, if that helps get someone else in that was supported, and I'm still here.
You'll come back in June.
I would like Peggy to have the position. I think she would be of value, and I would also like to be on a commission with more women.
Ooh, cool.
Well, wow, that's amazing.
Supporting that one.
There's a benefit in some teamwork, even though we're total strangers.
Well, yeah.
If that's available before you make your...
I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
We haven't voted yet, have we?
we just did, but it's fine. We can. The second vote would supersede this vote, so I have no objection to that. I mean, look, that's again, pretty amazing that you just did that. That's sort of unprecedented. I don't think I've ever seen that. So thank you. Cool. Okay, well, is there an alternate motion that can be made?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
That's very generous and thoughtful of you. And like I said, I'm happy with either one, so
same.
Why would we not?
Right.
I'll second that.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well,
Ms. Dallas?
yeah. I mean, that was the quickest appointment and removal. So, well, and look, so you've already promised to come back in June? Okay, good. So, congratulations. You're now planning commissioner, and you can talk to staff and get prepared for the next meeting. So, thank you both.
Just a quick comment, Ms. Butler, I'm all over that more women on the commission, so we'll make sure we
Yeah,
keep
that's
our
good.
eyes out and that
Good.
we're recruiting more, and I think we need to be more intentional about that recruitment.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, great. That was so Sierra Madre.
So Sierra Madre.
It really was. Okay, item 2B, consideration of support of Assemblymember Blanca Rubio's bill, Assembly Bill 1093. Mr. Carlson?
Hello, good evening, Mayor and City Council. Item 2B on your agenda this evening is brought to you at the request of Mayor Harabedian and Mayor Pro Tem Capocha. Staff is recommending that the City Council consider supporting AB 1093 and may do so with the attached letter. AB 1093 is state legislation crafted by Assemblymember Blanca Rubio that would require the state water quality mandates undergo a cost analysis as a component of their development. Cost estimates to comply with the most recent LA County MS4 regulations hit the $20 billion mark, and that's just within LA County, and that cost is spread over only about 8 years. It's a little different in each jurisdiction. AB 1093 is the second recent legislative effort to incorporate a cost analysis into its regulations. It is already used with similar federal water-related requirements and has been for 20 years. The legislation does not relax water quality objectives, but would provide more time and greater flexibility in the approaches to meet these mandates. AB 1093 is also consistent with the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments' recently adopted stormwater policy. Again, staff is recommending that you consider supporting AB 1093, and I'd be happy to answer your questions.
And before any questions, I do want to give a lot of credit to our Mayor Pro Tem and to Mr. Carlson for actually, really for years now, spearheading this, back in the committee for the COG in 2014, as the staff report says, but really just continuing to bring this up and drive it home, because there's no reason why this hasn't been done yet. It's kind of ridiculous that it's taken this long. And, the Porter Cologne law really should have done this from the beginning, but it doesn't. So, thank you guys for doing this.
Yes.
And obviously to Assemblymember Rubio for really championing this effort again and taking it up. So with that, any questions?
My only question is, why hasn't it been done sooner?
Yeah, well, it's a great
It's really.
Mr. City Attorney.
So just to add, so everyone knows what the status is of this legislation, it was passed by the legislator. It's currently enrolled, so that means it's before the governor, and the governor can choose whether to veto it or to sign it. And the deadline to do so for the governor is October 13th.
Yeah, so we don't have much time.
We can
And I think
do
it's
this
been on
one.
his desk since September 5th. So thank you for that clarification. Any other questions? All right, we'll open up for public comment. And we'll bring it back. Any comments from you, Mayor Pro Tem?
No, it's long overdue, and it's related to the lawsuit that's currently going on, where the court did make the findings that cost was not considered. So I think with both of those, the judgment in the lawsuit as well as the legislation, I think is pretty powerful to pull that together to ensure that when the next permit is issued, that, financials will be considered in that. So, and I just want to remind you, I did go to Sacramento and lobbied in front of the Senate subcommittee on this. So, it's good to follow up with, the COG invested enough to have me go up with our lobbyist and do that. So obviously I'm 100% behind it, so.
Did the senators really have any idea as to what you were lobbying?
I think they
Yeah?
did.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
That's refreshing.
I really think they did. I mean, our lobbyists did a good job in prepping them in advance and,
Yeah.
you know, keeping the comments concise. And there were a lot of people speaking in
Good.
favor of it as well, you know, so.
Good.
Well, I would just like to say, I can remember the first time this was brought forth to us, the whole stormwater, and we all went, how are we gonna pay for it?
Yeah.
And at that time, I think it was a question we all had, and seeing this is a really good thing, so thank you so much for getting it
Councilmember
done.
Delmar, that was years ago.
Years,
Years ago.
When we first started the council. And I should have asked this earlier, but Mayor Pro Tem, I know there were other bills that were complementing some of this and addressing some of these issues, but I don't know where those are. I don't know if they're still alive. If I mean, I'm happy to hear where this one has gone and that it's sitting at the governor's desk, but do you know of some of those other bills that, and I don't know if the deputy city attorney does too, that were probably not as directed as this, but they were trying to complement the issue that was raised with the cost.
Well, with this is our main focus now with the COG. There was a bill that would look to charge people for the zinc in their tires.
Yeah.
And that
Oh,
one
no, I
failed
don't.
pretty quick.
I thought there was something else.
But yeah, this is really the one that we're
Yeah.
really pushing.
Great. Good.
Okay. I'll take a motion.
I'll move to approve that we send the letter.
I will gladly second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that will be sent to the governor. Thank you. All right, item 2C, and this is the consideration of appointment to the Clean Power Alliance Board. James, I can just take it from here. I've been serving as our appointed board member for about 2 years now, and I thought it was a good time to open this up for my colleagues to see who would be interested in serving on the board. It's an important board. It is sort of time intensive. I mean, there's one meeting a month and a committee meeting a month, so you are meeting twice a month for the board, and those are usually during the week at a time of the committee's at noon on a Wednesday, the board's Thursday at 2, and they're usually in downtown Los Angeles, but you can call in, especially for the committee meetings, you can usually call in from a local location. Here in Arcadia is usually where they do it. So, I know the Mayor Pro Tem was instrumental in bringing this to the city from the COG. I assume that there's still going to be interest there from you. And I think that what we've been doing, and I think this has been sort of a burden on James and staff, is the alternate has been Mr. Carlson. And I think it's probably better to have the alternate. I think Mr. Carlson can stay as an alternate, but I think we should have a council member as the other alternate, because I think it is good to have two council members that if one can't show up, we're not necessarily burdening staff to have to go downtown or go wherever the meeting's being held. And I think that James will continue to be an alternate and can keep everyone apprised of what's going on. But I'll just open it up, and if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So you're trying to look for someone that actually works in downtown LA. I wonder who on this council works
Well-
in downtown LA to be an alternate.
I know that you work downtown to be the alternate, but I'm not going to subject you to it. It is, and Mr. Parkhurst is here. He's on our community advisory board. These are really, there's a lot on this board, and there's a lot on the community advisory commission. So,
Does it have to be a council member?
Yes, I think it does. I think that our joint power authority does say that the board member has to be a council member, and the alternate can be a staff member. They do prefer having two council members. We're one of the few, I think, now that only has one council member. There's a few others that still has one council member and a staff member, but I do think that it makes sense for two of us one to be the permanent. And I'm just going to throw you, Mayor Pro Tem. Are you comfortable doing it? Okay.
Yeah, I was interested in before, and I still am. I think it's a very groundbreaking thing for LA County, and I really do want to see it follow through with success here. And so I'd like to do it.
Okay.
Rochelle or Jean,
I was
do you
going to
have
say,
any?
who's the taker on the alternate?
I was going to say, I most definitely want to throw my support behind Mayor Pro Tem Capocha to be the main.
No, what about the alternate, though? Because this is,
Given, if James would like to continue to serve as an alternate, I'd be
there's
fine
two
with
alternates,
that.
so he
Oh,
definitely
great.
will.
Then
Yeah.
I will be another alternate. I'll be happy to
I'm in class.
to volunteer,
Yeah.
and I can
It's tough, yeah. Okay. Well,
make that work if need be.
Yeah, the time works good for me, Thursday afternoon.
Well, then I'll nominate, before you guys change your mind, I'll nominate the Mayor Pro Tem as the lead and Councilmember Arizmendi as the alternate and Mr. Carlson as the second alternate, as is. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Do we do public comment?
Let's do that. Public comment. Mr. Parkhurst, yes, this is probably why you were here. That would have been really rude.
Not a problem. So first, I want to acknowledge Mayor Pro Tem Capocia for bringing this to the city. Your vision and leadership is fantastic. And this is particularly important now. Last Friday, there were 4,638 strikes in 139 countries. And right now we have the Climate Action Summit going on in the UN, and many people are calling for 100% renewable as fast as possible, 2025, 2030. This is really a critical, we're at a critical juncture. The CPA has done a lot already. They've signed 2 contracts, one pure solar, one solar and storage. They've got another solar storage and another pure storage project coming up. So it's really, I'm glad that there's support from the city on this. I know it takes a lot of time, but this is important to our community and our future. So I'm really glad that you take this with seriousness and dedication. And as a member on the Community Advisory Committee, I would like to support you in that, especially with some of my energy background, because it's that important to me and to our community. Again, we're a small city. We don't have a lot of resources, but we're one of the leaders. Mayor Harabedian has been on the procurement subcommittee, which I think is one of the more time-intensive committees, yet also one of the more important ones. So thank you for making this a priority. Thank you for having 2 members of the council on it. As a resident at 375 East Grandview, which I probably should have started with, as a commissioner on the Natural Resources Commission, and as someone on the Climate Advisory Committee, I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? So we have a motion and a second. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Well, the next Energy Committee meeting is tomorrow.
Oh.
I can
go.
Okay.
There you go.
I think I am.
I'll forward you the
Yeah.
report. All right. This is the last item is the item 2D, consideration of resolution 1949, California minimum wage and how it affects certain employees.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. In consideration of Resolution 1949, planning for California's minimum wage increase and amending the part-time and confidential exempt classification plan and salary matrix. In 2016, Governor Brown signed Senate Bill 3, which increases the California's minimum wage each year until it reaches $15 in year 2022. Currently, the hourly minimum wage is $12, and effective January 1st, 2020, it will be increased to $13 per hour. City staff reviewed the current part-time compensation and salary matrix and identified 3 positions that will be impacted by the increase. Staff is recommending the City Council approve the $13 per hour increase that will go into effect January 1st, 2020. In addition to the 2020 part-time salary matrix adjustment, staff is seeking approval to adjust the 2019 part-time salary matrix by increasing the part-time hourly rate for the police department's part-time dispatcher position from $18.60 to $27.36 per hour. Increasing the hourly rate would not only improve the city's recruitment efforts by recruiting experienced and qualified dispatchers, it would also reduce the department's overtime by not requiring patrol officers who are paid a higher rate to provide coverage when there is a vacancy in dispatch, thus utilizing our resources more effectively. Adjustments to the 2019 and 2020 part-time salary matrix will not have an impact on the current budget, as the police department allocated part-time hours to use within the current fiscal year, and positions impacted by the minimum wage increase were already budgeted in preparation for the upcoming 2020 minimum wage increase. After a careful review of all unrepresented positions in the confidential exempt classification, staff identified 7 positions, 3 of which are currently vacant, that are unique in the sense that they do not have direct supervision of staff, but are considered exempt due to job duties and responsibilities that may be confidential in nature. When Council adopted the MOUs for the Police Officers Association and the Classified Employees Association back in June 2018, city staff inadvertently left out the 7 identified positions in the confidential exempt classification that should have been included in the negotiated 2.1% increase that went into effect July 1st, 2019. The 2.1% adjustment to the confidential exempt salary matrix for the 7 positions mentioned in the staff report will impact the remaining 2019-2020 budget by $12,898, which is distributed throughout various funds. At this time, city staff is recommending the City Council adopt Resolution 1949, modifying the part-time hourly wages in the city's classification plan and salary matrix for 2019 and 2020, and modifying the confidential exempt salary matrix, increasing said positions 2.1% retroactive to July 1st, 2019. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? I don't either. Okay, we'll open this up for public comment. And seeing none, we'll bring it back. And I think that they're just we'll just address the dispatcher, the increase in the dispatcher. I mean, the reality is that we're spending more money now by paying these part-time dispatchers less because we can't keep anyone, and so we're backstaffing the dispatchers with full-time officers,
Right.
and then having to hire or give overtime for officers to cover shifts. So this, although it's a big jump, or seemingly a big jump for the part-time dispatchers, it's actually going to save us money.
Right.
Okay.
Especially with the minimum wage going up next year, because it actually then, if we
Yeah.
didn't do it, it would actually be almost a decrease.
Well, the other thing too is I just think for just operational efficiency and just morale, just to cut the turnover a little bit too, and pay people enough to actually stay in the job. I just think there's value to that as well.
Agreed. And letting officers be officers and dispatchers be dispatchers, yeah. Okay, well, any other comments before we vote? I'll take a motion.
So moved.
I'll take that as a motion in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. Okay, any items for future agendas?
Yes. Just related to the commissions again, as I said, I did meet with the senior commission, and Laura, you said that there were no applications for the senior commission, but they told me there was an application for the senior commission.
If there's one on its way through, I haven't received it yet.
Okay.
The vacancy was as a result of the terming of the completion of the first term for Commissioner Bartoli. And she completed her term on June 30th, so as of July 1st, it's been vacant.
Okay, so what they told me that there is somebody who has applied, who is a former senior commission, that they absolutely love. She's a hard worker. And I just don't want to go through this about waiting for 3 applications again. If we've got somebody qualified that we know is a pretty solid commissioner. So I just would ask that we agendize that and go for, approval if the council so desires.
No
Is it
objection.
possible to agendize changing that policy where we have to have 3 applicants?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we could.
We could discuss
I
that.
was going to say, I mean, I have no problem talking about it.
And we can be on the lookout for that applicant's application, and as soon as we receive it, we can agendize that if that is the council's desire.
If it's a false rumor, never mind,
But
Yeah.
senior commission is a difficult commission sometimes to fill, so if we have an
Yeah.
applicant, that would be great.
Okay, thank you.
Any other future items? Okay. Well, I'll move to adjourn and,
Second.
okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.